Dr. Sangeet opportunity and AIOC for this opportunity. So I'll be speaking on 27 gauge vitrectomy for macular diseases. So I have no financial disclosure, and as we all know that the first pars plana vitrectomy was described by Mackamer with a very bulky instrument, and then in 1974, O'Malley gave the 3-port pars plana vitrectomy as we know it. Then sutureless vitrectomy systems came about when in 1996, Chen described sutureless pars plana vitrectomy with 20 gauge. Fuji in 2002 described the 25 gauge sutureless vitrectomy. Eckart in 2005, the 23 gauge sutureless vitrectomy. And finally, Oshima from Japan gave the 27 gauge MIVS in 2010. So these are the various cutters which are available to us on the 23, 25, and 27 gauge system. So various illumination devices have also been developed by Eckart, by Oshima. Oshima has in fact recently developed a 29 gauge mercury vapor fiber optic with light twice as strong and safer. And obviously he had developed the 27 gauge chandelier as well. So this is the 27 gauge system, which we are very, used to. And it has various things. I won't go into the details because of paucity of time, but there we can fix a cannula and a trocar. And a vent is provided for cases for normalizing the pressure. And now the probe stiffness has been improved to make it similar. The 27 gauge plus has a probe stiffness which is similar to a 25 gauge plus. And this is showing the evolution of the Alcon Ultravit to its recent 10,000 cuts per minute bevel tip, which has its advantages of the port being closer to the retina, and at 10,000 cuts per minute it has minimal traction on the vitreoretinal surface. So I'll be showing you some cases. So this is a case of a lady with an ERM with a very bad macular pucker, and that also a chronic one, as you can see, with a lot of retinal thickening. I'll be just sharing my video. So as you can see, it was a very tough epiretinal membrane, and this I'm using both, the negative stain of the BBG, because the ERM doesn't stain, but the underlying ILM does stain. And then after double staining, because the underlying ILM was not stained previously, I'm removing the ILM. And then tamponade with C3F8 gas after air fluid exchange. So this is how she looked a few weeks post-op and a couple of months post-op. And although the morphology and the foveal architecture was replaced with a fairly normal looking one, but the vision didn't improve much because of the chronicity of the disease. Macular hole surgery has also undergone, a lot of evolution, and smaller port size with port optimization and smaller sphere of influence.
Please come closer to the mic.
Okay. Can you hear me now better?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's very low. Volume is very low.
Okay. Is it better now? Okay. So the smaller port size with port optimization and smaller sphere of influence makes these cutters more efficient, and multifunctionality rendered by the smaller, more dexterous tips helps reduce need for additional instrumentation. I'll show you in one of my cases. So this is my first case of macular hole, pre-op 3/60, fairly large macular hole. And I'll just show you the video of the 27 gauge macular hole surgery in this case. So this is initiating PVD with the IVTA. And then doing a cabbage technique, or putting various multiple layers over the large macular hole to make an inverse ILM flap. So this is how the patient looked, and the vision also improved to 660 post-operatively. This is another case of macular hole with vision of 660 in the right eye and 636 in the left eye. You can see that bilateral macular hole, and the right you can see that it's a fairly old macular hole, large one, and a flattish macular hole. Since the patient had worse vision in the right eye, although I advised surgery in the left eye, patient wanted surgery in the right eye first. So I took him up for the surgery in the right eye. And I'll just show you the video. So in this video, what I wanted to show you is that with 27 gauge, you can do most of the things with the cutter itself. So this is the ILM peel. So the long redundant ILM flaps can be trimmed using the 27 gauge cutter. And also the apposition onto the hole can be done with the cutter itself. And so also the air fluid exchange. So you don't need to exchange various instruments, with 27 gauge, and very conveniently with this vent, you can do the air fluid exchange and C3F8 gas. And it leaves a fairly good cosmetic result with hardly any leakage of gas. So this is in my hands, what I find the advantages of 27 gauge, and this is how the patient looked, kind of like a type 2 macular hole closure, because it was a chronic large macular hole. Vision did improve marginally to 636. He also underwent in the other eye macular hole surgery and had a better result in the other eye. That also we did 27 gauge. So there have been several studies focusing on the effects of gauge selection following macular hole surgery. And in a comparative study of 47 macular hole cases, 25 gauge vitrectomy yielded similar results to 23 gauge. And also there have been studies on 27 gauge macular hole surgery where it was found that it was comparable to the other two gauges. So it was the 27 gauge cutter in my hand was efficient in all the steps, including very accurate PVD induction due to a small sphere of influence and multifunctionality, which I just showed you. And there was hardly any leakage from sclerotomies. So I'll go on to optic pit maculopathy. Various treatment options have been given. And this is a case in a young girl with a high serous detachment of the macula secondary to optic pit maculopathy. And I'll just show you the video of the 27 gauge surgery I did. So in this case, I made a temporal flap just juxtapapillary to the pit and just reflected it over the pit. And I did a fovea sparing ILM peel because we don't want to create a full thickness macular hole. As you saw that the retina was totally thinned out in the macular area. So this girl, she did fairly well. She's still on follow-up, and 6 months later, the retinoschisis continues to, resolve gradually, and the neurosensory detachment has almost completely resolved, and vision is 618 parts currently. She continues to be on follow-up. So we found that 27 gauge could give good results in optic pit maculopathy as well, and this is a review of the various techniques of optic pit maculopathy. And I'll come to my last video, Dr. Sangeet, if I have half a minute. It's a case of a VMT which I managed with 27 gauge. This is how the the VMT looked, and I'll just quickly show you my last video. So what I like about the 27 gauge cutter is, it's pinpoint traction. I mean, wherever you want, that sphere of influence is so small that you can, pull gently on the vitreous and without creating breaks. And here also I'm trimming the, I did not raise it from the posterior pole, from the macula, the vitreous, but rather did trimming and, very careful and had to really make sure that I did not create a macular hole. So the 27 gauge cutter was very useful for this. And in the end, I did an inverse ILM flap over the fovea so that, this is what the final result.